Hi YouTube, welcome to one of my videos. I've got one of these Coleman's candle lanterns which uses the UCO candles. These candles burn for 9 hours and you can buy them in packs of 3, but they're quite expensive to buy the candles. So I'm looking at an alternative method of reducing the cost of running these lanterns. One is to buy cheap candles and make a mould so that this shape, or convert it over somehow to run from candle oil. Now I know somebody has done it using cylinders. I think they're gas cylinders that's used on these nail guns, but they're very, very rare to find. So I'm wondering whether I could make something using an old baked bean tin. Now I've got a baked bean tin here, and one of the top's been cut out, and obviously we're using ingredients, and I'm going to chop the bottom out, and then I'm going to cut it down the side, see if I can make a 30mm diameter tube, which will be the same size as a candle. Now using the tin opener, I've took the end out. The next job I'm going to do is, using my tin snips, is cut a section out of there. And hopefully I'm going to be able to solder the tins together and make a tube. Now I've found the handle of the garden rake almost the diameter I'm looking for. So what I'm doing, I'm getting the tin and I'm bending it round the garden rake handle to form the shape of the tube. But what I'm also going to use, I'm going to put some hose clamps on it so I can actually squash it up. So it's wrapped round the rake handle. I'm going to tap it now with a hammer and then remove it, and hopefully it will retain its shape. It's now removed from the broom handle. Now with a bit of clever soldering and using these clamps, I'm hoping to solder it all the way down the seam to make a tube. It may work, it may not. I'll give it a go. Well, it's not the neatest job I've done, but that's it so far, and it will actually fit inside the tube. I've obviously got to cut it a lot shorter, and yeah, and what I did, I clamped it with the hose clamps and soldered it all the way along there. And what I'll do, I'll cut the end and make an end to block that end off, and then I need to make it a lot shorter, but I can cut this with a hacksaw. But I'm going to make an end for it now if I can, and solder that in as well. Okay, soldered up the bottom. I cut a round disc of this bean tin, pushed it through the top, soldered it from the bottom, so that's almost a container, and it still fits in there. What I've got to do now is, if I make it the same length as this candle, and it'll probably go all together then and make a top. What I'm going to do is, I've got to put a wick in it and a way of filling it, and I'm going to put a piece of what do I call it, brake pipe in, and that will do, I should think. I'm using brake pipe fittings, and brake pipe's going to go in the middle with a wick. I shall use this. Okay, this is where I've got to with regarding to this unit to run from lamp oil. And what I've done, just to recap, I've used a baked bean tin. I've took the ends of the baked bean tin off. I've then cut it down, seam soldered it. I've cut a piece of the aluminium can, made a bottom and soldered that in. I've then used some brake pipe fittings through 2 or 3 washers. There's 2 big washers and 2 small diameter washers, so I could put sealant in there, and I've forced it in the end. I've sort of peened it over with a hammer around this edge, and I'm going to put some of this metal putty I have just round here to make like a seal. Now for the centre, it's a brake pipe fitting. I intend to slide a piece of brake pipe down the middle, and I'm going to also use this hole here as a filler. Quite a small hole, but it should do the job to fill it. And then how it goes together is almost as normal. I haven't got the brake pipe fitted yet, but this gives you an indication how it goes together. In part 2 I shall hopefully have the putty gone off around here, and that goes on there like a that's a candle. That's this unit. That'll go on. Whoops. Sorry about that. This goes together as normally it would with a candle in. This goes on there. As well. Okay, so there'll be a very small piece of brake pipe sticking out there with a wick in it, and this will then go on the top. Like that, centre balanced on, and the flame will be up to about there. I think it'll work. The same part 2, hopefully I'll have it finished and have it working. So thanks for watching so far. Please subscribe and like.